Good morning, dear cadets. So yesterday I taught you types of soil. So how many types of soil are there? Clayey soil, sandy soil, and loamy soil. So just see, other than these three types, some other types of soil is also there. So other types of soil are residual soil, transported soil, and mountainous soil. Just see. As you know, India is a very vast country. In different places, different types of soil is found. So, what do you mean by residual soil? Residual soil is that type of soil which remains at the place of its formation. Means what is there? Wherever soil is formed, it will remain there only. It will not go here and there. So, such type of soil is known as residual soil. And now in our country, mostly it is found in some special areas, and this soil is not moved here and there. Means from its original place of birth, it remains as such. What about transported soil? Transported soils are those soils which settled at the places other than its formation place. So as you know, wind speed is there, rivers are flowing, flood is coming. So suppose one particular type of soil is formed in these places because of wind, because of rain, because of flood, that may settled at some other places. So such type of soil is known as transported soil. And as its name itself suggests, they are transported from one place to another place, from the place of their birth to another place. Such type of soil is known as transported soil. In India, most of the places transported soil is there. Just see, in the basins of Ganga and some other places, such type of soil is found, because Ganga river flow means with the stream of Ganga river, these types of soil scattered here and there. Another one is the mountainous side. What about the mountainous side? You know, in India there are so many mountains. So in mountains, what is there? Valleys are there, and depressions are, deep depressions are there, and another inclined slopes are there. So mountainous soil are those soils which are present in the valley, depressions, and other inclined slopes of mountainous places. So such type of soil is known as mountainous soil. So just see, what is the meaning of teaching this one? The meaning of teaching is to make you aware that only three types of soil is not there. Some other types of soil is also there, and you should remember. And because of the presence of different types of soil in India, variety of crops are grown. Now I am going to show you one map of India, and with the help of colored portions, I will show you what kind of soil is found in different states of India. So dear cadets, this one is the map of India, okay? And you know the different states of India. So just see, this color exhibit the mountainous soil. So just see, here what is there? This area is J and K, some part of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So there what kind of soil is found? Mountainous soil is found. Second one is the black soil. You just see this area, this is black soil. So black soil is mostly found in the northeast states of India. Alluvial soil, you just see, in most of the portion of India, what is there? Alluvial soil is found. In these areas, here just see, this area is the part of Gujarat, Punjab. What kind of soil is found here? This is the alluvial soil. Next one is the red soil. Red soil, just see, most portion of the India is having red soil. Just see, this area, red soil. Here also red soil. This area also red soil is there. And see, black soil is found here also. this area. So red soil, most of the places red soil is found. Here also red soil. Desert soil. See, this is the Rajasthan area and the part of Gujarat. What kind of soil is found? Desert soil. And here also, just see this area and this area. This is also desert type of soil only. So try to understand. This is for the sake of your knowledge. Question will not come here because it is not geography. It is science. But you should know what kind of soils are found in different parts of India. Dear cadets, now next topic of this chapter is soil and crops. So as you know, in different parts of the country, different types of crops are grown. Like in Andhra and Chhattisgarh, basically paddy crops is grown. In Punjab, Madhya Pradesh and some other northern part of India, basically what is grown? Wheat is grown. Now in Maharashtra, Gujarat, what is grown? Cotton is grown. Groundnut is grown. In Maharashtra, Karnataka and parts of UP, sugar cane is grown. Am I correct or not? So just try to understand how the farmers will come to know that this particular crops can be grown in this particular type of soil. So just try to understand the type of crops or vegetation determined in a particular type of soil by two factors. The first one is the climatic factors. Just see, the climate which is needed for cotton and paddy may not be suitable for wheat, may not be suitable for sugarcane, may not be suitable for groundnut. So what is there? Climatic factors determine what kinds of crops and vegetation will grow in a particular region. Another factor is component of soil. Just see, for the growth of wheat, for the growth of paddy, for the growth of sugarcane, different kinds of nutrients are required, and different kinds of nutrients, minerals, they are found in different types of soil. So the component of soil will also determine the type of vegetation and crops grown in a particular area. This is the component of soil only determining that groundnut, sugarcane is grown in the Karnataka, Maharashtra and some part of Andhra. But same is not grown in MP. In MP what is grown? Wheat is grown, paddy is grown, soybean is grown and mustard is grown. Now what is there? Leguminous plant is grown. Leguminous means dal wale plants. Means tuar dal and some moong dal and some other pulses. So the type of vegetation and crops determined by two factors, that is the climatic factors and the component of soil, means the structure, nutrients, minerals which are found in the soil. Actually soil is affected by following factors. So means particular region soil will be affected by wind speed. What is the wind speed? Next one is the rainfall. What is the amount of rainfall there? Next one is the temperature. What is the temperature of that particular area? Then humidity and the light. These are the factors which affect the soil type, and they only will determine what would be the resulting components of soil. Wind, rainfall, temperature, humidity and the light. Combining these two factors, climatic factors and component of soil, will determine the growth of a particular crop and vegetation in a particular region. So remember these factors and this climatic factor and component factors for the growth of a suitable crops in a particular region. So dear cadets, now in India variety of crops are grown like cotton. So cotton is mostly grown in sandy and loam soil, and this is the sandy and loam soil basically found in Maharashtra and Gujarat. This is the only reason, that is why cotton is basically grown in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Now wheat. You know that the largest producer of wheat is now Madhya Pradesh. Earlier, which state was the largest producer? Punjab. So wheat is basically grown in the loamy soil. In most part of the MP and Punjab, basically loam soil is found. That is why they are the largest producer of wheat. Paddy, you know that paddy is mostly found grown in the clay soil, and now in Chhattisgarh and Andhra, basically clay soil is found. So in clay soil, what particles is found? Clay particles are found. That is why those clay particles are very much suitable for the growth of, for the cultivation of, for the growth of paddy plant. Coconut basically grown in the parts of Karnataka and in entire Kerala and some part of Tamil Nadu, because there sandy soil is found. Sandy soil is found. So these are the major crops which are grown in India, and their growth in a particular type of soil I have shown. Dear cadet, the property of any soil can be determined on the basis of three things: their percolation rate, their moisture, presence in the moisture, presence of moisture in the soil, and absorption of water, means absorption of water by the soil, means any soil, let it be loam soil, sandy soil or clay soil. Their property will be explained on the basis of rate of percolation, capacity or ability to hold the moisture. Now, capacity or ability to absorb or retain the water, hold the water, that is water absorption. So now, first of all, I will teach you percolation rate. So first of all, I would like to teach you percolation. What is the meaning of percolation? How easily or fastly water passes down in the soil. That is known as percolation. So what do you mean by percolation? How easily or fastly water passes down in the soil. That is known as percolation. And what do you mean by percolation rate? Percolation rate is nothing but amount of water percolated in per minute. That is known as percolation rate. So we can write here percolation rate equal to amount of water percolated in milliliter divided by time taken in minute. So this is known as percolation rate. So now the definition of percolation is very easy. How fastly water passes down in the soil, that is known as percolation. And what is the percolation rate? Amount of water percolated per minute, that is the percolation rate. For the better understanding of percolation, let us do one activity with the help of animation. Just see, try to understand. Suppose you are spilling the water on cemented floor, then what would be there? Water will flow here and there, but it will not be absorbed. But if same amount of water is spilled on kacha floor, means garden soil or some other places, so very fastly it will be absorbed or not. So related activity I am showing.
If we spill water on a cement floor, it stays there for a long time. we spill water in the garden soil, it quickly gets absorbed. This is because water can easily seep into the soil but not the cement floor. But is the percolation rate of water same for all types of soil? Let us find out through this experiment that whether the percolation rate of water is same in different types of soil. For this experiment, we require a measuring cylinder, 3 equal-sized hollow plastic pipes, 3 equal-sized pots, bowl of soil samples, a weighing balance. Take 3 equal-sized pots and label them as A. Sandy, B. Loamy, and C. Clay. Weigh 50 grams each of the soil samples, sandy, loamy, and clay using a weight balance. Put the soil samples in each of their respective pots. Dig 1 hole in each of the pot soil. The holes should be of equal depth. Place the plastic pipe in each of the holes. Now measure 100 milliliter of water using a measuring cylinder and pour this water into the pipe placed in the sandy soil. Note the time taken by water to percolate through the soil using the stopwatch. Similarly, pour 100 milliliter of water through the pipe placed in loamy and note the time taken by water to percolate through the soil using the stopwatch. Record the observations. Similarly, pour 100 milliliter of water through the pipe placed in clay soil and note the time taken by water to percolate through the soil. The water got drained off through the sandy, clay and loamy soils after 5 minutes. 6 minutes and 8 minutes respectively. Water percolated down through the sandy soil in much less time than the clay and loamy soil.
So I hope that you understood that activity, and their conclusion I have written. In which side the rate of percolation is the highest? The rate of percolation is very much high in case of sandy soil. You just see what is the meaning of percolation. how easily, how fastly water passes down to soil, passes down in the soil. That is known as percolation. So in sandy soil, particles, sand particles are large. So interparticle spaces are there. That is why water percolate fastly. And in case of loam, what is there? In loam, what is there? Silt particles are there, and they have got some special features. Loam soil. That is why their percolation rate is least. It takes maximum time to pass down. It means in loamy soil, water takes a lot of time to percolate down. Percolate. That is why the rate of percolation is least in loamy soil. And now try to understand. You may raise the cross question also. Sir, you told that in clay soil, clay particles are smaller than silt particles. So in the least it should have been in case of clay soil. But try to understand. Actually, silt particles are of course larger than clay particles. No doubt about it. But some other nutrients, minerals and structure of loam soil make it difficult water to percolate. That is why in the loam the rate of percolation is least. Actually it should have been in clay soil, because their packing is in clay soil. What is there? Packing is very tight, packing is very close, so water should not have percolated. So it should have been in the clay soil, but actually it is in loamy soil because of some special features of loamy soil. So don't get confused. In this way, today's activity plus portion which I have planned to complete is completed. Thank you.